so today what we're going to do is we're going to talk about equations with absolute value in there. Before we start doing that though, we got to talk a little bit about absolute value, then we'll get into our equations with them. So first things first, absolute value is the distance from zero. It doesn't matter if you're going to the right or going to the left, it's the distance that is from zero, right? So if you go to the right, that's a positive 4. Well, 0 to the positive 4 is 4, okay? And if you're going to the left on the number line, 0 to the negative 4, that distance from there is 4, okay? So when we're talking about absolute value, we're talking about the distance either way. And remember, distance cannot be negative. So that's what we're looking at, all right? So I've got a couple things up here that we're going to kind of look at, but they're really key concepts for you to understand how to deal with the equations with absolute value in them, all right? So if I take the absolute value of 4, right, I'm going to get a positive 4, right? Absolute value of a number gets you that positive number. Very important, that's exactly what absolute value is. And then I come over here and I got the absolute value of negative 4 is 4. Well, that makes sense, right? Talk about the distance away from 0 on a number line. That's what you got. That's how it's written. That's what it looks like, okay? Then we come down here and we look and we go, well, the absolute value of x equals 4. Well, there's two possibilities for this, okay? You have the absolute value of 4, which gets you 4. So x could equal 4. But you also have the absolute value of negative 4. So negative 4 can also get you 4 here. So if we have this, and this is an equation with absolute value in it, if we have this, we have two possible answers for what x could actually represent. It could represent the 4, or it could represent negative 4. And that's how you would write your answer for this, right? X equals 4, or x equals negative 4. So either one of these two numbers fulfills the requirements for us to get the absolute value of x to equal 4. All right? So that's what we're looking at. And this is the concept right here that you need to have to be able to solve some of these other things. Now, the next question as we move forward is, can we get the absolute value of a number to give us a negative number? Well, you can't do that because if you remember, I just talked about it, the distance from 0, right, is what absolute value is, and distance can never be negative. So when you have this, the absolute value of a number equals negative 4, this doesn't work. You can't have that. You can't get the absolute value of a number to give you a negative number. This right here is a no solution because it can't happen. It doesn't work that way, okay? So understand that if you get to here, you have the absolute value of a number, and it says equals a negative, you got a no solution. It doesn't work. All right? So as we're moving forward, we should be looking for a couple of things, right? We should be looking for two answers to our absolute value equations on them normally, and then we should be looking for a no solution as we go forward. Okay? So be aware of those things. All right? So here's our first problem. Okay? The absolute value of x plus 1 equals 9. All right, so we can solve this pretty much like an equation. X plus 1 equals 9. Okay? So we'll solve this just like we normally did. Okay? Draw our lines, add the inverse. Okay? That cancels out. X equals 9 plus negative 1 gets you 8. So if I put 8 back into here, 8 plus 1 gets us 9. And we're good with that. So one of our answers we know for sure is x equals 8. We're good there, okay? But we need the other number that it could possibly be. Well, when we do this, x plus 1 equals, we're going to take this number and we're going to change it from a positive to a negative. And yes, I know I just talked about it over here, but we're taking away those absolute value signs right here when we do this. -9. Okay? to draw our line. We're going to add the inverse. Just like what we've done before, it cancels out, and x equals -9 plus a -1. We add them, keep their sign. 9 plus 1 gets us 10, and it's negative. Now if we take this -10 and we substitute it back into here, okay, and that's what I'm going to do right here real quick. -10, absolute value, -10, plus 1 equals 9. Well, -10 plus 1 gets us the absolute value of -9 equals 9. Is that a true statement? The absolute value of -9 is 9, and 9 equals 9. That's a good statement. So our other answer here, I'm sorry, is -10. I got 9s over here. So 8, -10. So the way we work this, right? Okay, we take our equation, x plus 1 equals 9, x plus 1 equals 9. We work that one out to solve for our first answer. Then we change the sign of this number over here. X plus 1 equals -9, and we solve there. That will give us our two answers. Okay, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so we're going to do the same thing. I've got several problems here, but I think once you get moving with this, you're going to be like, oh, okay, that really makes sense. All right, so we have the absolute value of 2x equals 12. This is a positive number, therefore, we're going to have some answers on this one. Okay, if it would have been negative, we'd have had no solution, but it's positive, so we're good. So again, we're going to take 2x equals 12. That'll get us our first one. And then we're going to do this. 2x equals -12. And this will get our second one. Okay? So draw your line. This is multiplication. The opposite operation is division. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. This cancels out. X equals 6. We're good there. Okay? And we could substitute it back in, right? 6 times 2 gives us 12. The absolute value of 12 equals 12. We're good. Okay? Same thing here. Draw our line. Divide by 2. Divide by 2. This cancels out. X equals -6. Okay? Now we take it and substitute it back in. Absolute value of 2 times -6 equals 12. Well, 2 times 6 gets us -12, but we take the absolute value of it, and the absolute value of -12 is 12 equals 12. That's what you're looking at, okay? Be aware of it. So our answers here, we got two of them, right? X equals 6, and x equals -6. Both of those work, okay? Both of those work. All right, so then we come over here. The absolute value of 3x equals -9. Is there any number we can put in there that'll give us back a negative number? There's not. This is no solution. I don't even have to work it. I just look, oh, that's the absolute value, -9. I know that doesn't work. No solution. Right off the bat, okay? Negative number over here, and all I have over here is the absolute value of this. I can't get that. That doesn't work, right? But now, look here. The absolute value of 4x plus 2 equals 18. Positive 18, just the absolute value. So I'm going to have to work this. I'm going to work it twice, okay? 4x plus 2 equals 18, and 4x plus 2 equals -18. Okay, we're going to solve. Draw your line, add locate your variable, do the thing that's furthest away, add the inverse. Cancels out, you get 4x equals 18 plus -2 gets you 16. Divide by 4, divide by 4, cancels out, x equals 4. There's one of our numbers. Again, we plug it back in. 4 times 4 16, plus 2 is 18. Take the absolute value, 18 equals 18. We've got a good answer. Okay? Same thing here. Locate your variable, do the same thing. -2, -2, cancels out. 4x equals -18 plus -2 gets you -20. Divide by 4, divide by 4. This cancels out. X equals -5. Take -5, substitute it in there. 4 times -5 plus 2 equals 18. Don't forget your absolute values because you got to have those, otherwise you can get a bad answer. Okay? 4 times -5 gets you -20 plus 2 equals 18. Subtract. Keep the sign of the bigger number. Okay? The absolute value of -18 gets you 18 equals 18. We have a good answer. So our two answers for this is x equals 4 and x equals -5. It's perfectly fine. You're going to have two answers. Okay? Now, a lot of times when you're dealing with this, you're going to get a fractional answer on these things. Okay? At least one of them normally. I kind of set up these others to begin with to give you these normal numbers that you're used to seeing. But a lot of times you're going to get fractional answers. You should get a fractional answer out of this, at least on one of them. Okay? So be aware of that, but it's okay because we'll still plug it back in. We'll show you how it works. Okay? So absolute value -3x plus 5 equals 20. No problem. -3x plus 5 equals 20. And then we got to do it again. -3x plus 5 equals -20. Again, that's a positive number. I'm good. I can keep moving forward. Okay? Solve. Locate your variable. Do the thing that's furthest away. Cancels out. -3x equals, positive 15. Divide. X equals -5. Okay? Take that number, substitute it back in. -5 times -3 gets you 15. Negative times a negative gets you positive. 15 plus 5 gets you 20. Take the absolute value of 20. 20 equals 20. We're good. Okay? Next one. So we know one of our answers is -5. Okay? Do the same thing over here. Plus -5. Plus -5. Cancels out. -3x equals -25. Divide by -3. Divide by -3. Cancels out. X equals positive 25 over 3. See how we got a fractional answer? It's okay, because we're going to take this and we're going to substitute it back into this. And I'm going to do this on this other board just so that we can get a clear seeing of it, right? So the absolute value of -3 times 25 over 3 plus 5, absolute value, equals 20. All right, now look, if you get a fractional answer, it should come out pretty cleanly when you substitute it back in to see if you've got a good answer, okay? So, multiplying, right? So I got to turn this into a fraction, -3 over 1, and then I can cross cancel right here. The 3 and the 3 cross out. This becomes 1, this becomes 1. So you got -1 times -25. -25 plus 5, the absolute value, right? Okay, so 1 times 1 gets you 1, -25 over 1 gets you -25. We're good. Equals 20. Okay, -25 plus 5, subtract, keep the sign of the bigger number. -20, take the absolute value of -20. 20 equals 20. And that's what you're looking at. Okay, so Not a big deal, but it is the way that you have to work these. You're going to get some fractional answers out of these things. Now I want to show you how you're going to put these things into Get More Math, because I don't want you making mistakes because you don't know how to plug it into the program, right? So here we have 2 equals the absolute value of 5x minus 9 absolute value, right? Same thing, 2 equals 5x minus 9, negative 2 equals 5x minus 9. I'm going to solve them just like we did before. Draw your line, add the inverse over here, okay? Cancels out, 9, 10, 11 equals 5x, divide by 5, divide by 5, these cancel out, and you get 11 over 5 equals x. There's one of our answers, and we can substitute it back in there to solve, be okay. Same thing over here, okay? Add here, cancels out, get you 5x, 9, negative 2 plus a positive 9, subtract, keep this sign of the bigger number, 7 equals 5x, divide by 5, divide by 5, this cancels out, so x equals 7/5. So we have our 2 answers. Now I could take this and substitute it back in there, and I'm going to do that with this one real quick. Look, 2 equals the absolute value of 5 times 7 over 5 minus 9 absolute value. Okay, again, see how these 2 things cancel out? Those cancel out, and that gets you 2 equals the absolute value of 7 minus 9. Well, 7 minus 9 gets you negative 2 inside there, equals 2. The absolute value of negative 2 is 2, so we have a good answer. Okay, so now let's plug these into here. Okay, so the first thing you're going to do, if you get a fractional answer, use your fraction button. 11 over 5 is our first answer. 11 over 5, there's our first answer. And then you're going to separate these things by a comma. Put your comma in there, and then you're going to put the next fraction, 7 over 5. Okay? And then you should hit enter, and see how we got the green dot? This is telling me this is a good answer. You should get the little things that come down to show that, but it should be good. Now the next one I want to show you is how to put in a no solution. I just need to find one real quick. Oh, there we go. The absolute value of 8x equals negative 2. Notice down here it has a no solution button. That's what you're looking at. Just click the no solution button if you look at one of those. Okay? And you're good. Green dot, we're good. Guys, it's a little bit of work to do these, but we can do them. We know how to solve equations, so it's not that big a deal. If you have any questions, let me know.